Peter, thanks for joining me. First of all, how's the move been down to Paarl? I know you're originally from the Cape. Spent 5 interesting years in Kimberley.
Yeah, I loved my time in Kimberley. To be honest, I was sad to leave when the time came, and would like to have carried on, but I got a great opportunity at Paarl Boys, and different, but really enjoying the challenge, and really great bunch of boys, and terrific school to work for. Lots of tradition, and it's been a great experience so far.
You did come from a professional environment, but these days schoolboy rugby is so professional. But of course, you do have to think about other elements and the education of the boys, and of course they are only teenagers.
Yeah, I think the landscape in South African rugby is changing a lot. In some ways it's not that great for rugby all the time, but we are a traditional summer school sport, so the guys have to play summer school sport. So we start our rugby season quite late, but we've got a great bunch of guys. Like I said, they are very coachable and got some talented players, so we're building nicely and looking forward to a good season.
You have spent time overseas coaching. How important has that been for the development of you as a coach?
I'd have to say it's the biggest impact on my life. That, and I also went across to New Zealand. But just the coach education system, the structures they've got in place, we unfortunately quite far behind. It's been very valuable to me, and I'm trying to pass that on to the coaches at Boishaai now. We're running quite an intense coach development structure in place there, and also just trying to get the guys enjoying coaching, but also to challenge their coaching and what they're doing. And I believe that one of our aims is to become the best coaching team in South Africa, which I'm hoping to achieve.
We obviously aren't short on talent. I mean, some of the second teams could probably be first teams in other countries. And I'd say that we've probably got the biggest or largest amount of top schoolboys in the world. Now, where does the issue come in? Because New Zealand schoolboys rugby is competitive, but their structures are so good, and the All Blacks, especially their Super Rugby teams, are so dominant. Where's the missing link?
I think it's a great question. Look, like I said, the landscape's changed quite a lot. They've done away with the under-19 structures, so really difficult. I think the route that I'd like to encourage boys to take, especially at school, is work hard, get good results, and get into the university system. I think Varsity Cup has been brilliant for our rugby. And we need to ensure that our club structure comes back into place and is strong, because the boys must play rugby and they need to get opportunities to play. And unfortunately, with the under-19s dissipating, the number of players getting contracted by unions is going to drop tremendously. So a bit worrying for guys. And I think the repercussion of that is, I think, going to find a lot of younger players getting opportunities abroad, especially in Europe, and more importantly places like America, where they're trying to get guys in early and obviously get them citizenship. So I think we've got a great talent pool, but we've got to think very cleverly how we keep that pool here, and obviously with the RAND situation it's going to be difficult.
Well, thank you for leading me into the next question. Of course, I'm concentrating on Major League Rugby and American rugby in general on this YouTube page. And they're in their second season of Major League Rugby. Already 2 teams added, 3 more teams added for next year. I think they're obviously going the top-down approach with the way they're doing things. But when those professional franchises start developing academies, I think a lot of our boys out of school will be seeking their fortunes in those states.
Yeah, there's a lot of South Africans in Atlanta currently. I know that they're pushing rugby quite strong there. Obviously down in California, the rugby's strong, and also Colorado. But the important thing, and I think the advantage they have, is they have a very strong university set up there, and they're obviously very professional. So I think their next step will be to get a couple of universities and get scholarships through there. And again, I think that's a route I think a lot of South African boys might take going forward. I know a lot of swimmers and tennis players are doing that. And it makes sense. It's a great opportunity for the boys, and like I say, there's other unions. Russia, for example, they're trying to develop their rugby. Germany. So I think more and more opportunities will come for players if they're not selected in South Africa through the system. And I think, like I said earlier, we've got to really think how we structure our junior rugby and how we try and develop those boys and bring them through the system. But I agree with you 100%. We've got so much talent here, and it's just exciting to watch, and this competition has been brilliant.
I would suspect that by the time the next Rugby World Cup comes around in 2023, after 6 years of Major League Rugby, the USA could start becoming a force in the and if you also look at the Nations Cup that they hoping to start next season, it gives those smaller teams something to aim for, and they can move up the ranks with relegation and promotion.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I think there's going to be some massive changes coming onto the rugby landscape worldwide. I think someone like America, who's got the funding and got the resources, and they're obviously bringing in really top coaches, are going to develop and drive rugby. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And I think, if you're looking at nations where you want to build a game and get people down to watch, it's one of the worrying things in South Africa. If you just look at the crowds and attendance at Super League, etc. But then if you look at the schoolboy rugby, obviously it's parents and a lot of people come and watch schoolboy rugby, and obviously now with the live streaming, it's just become so popular. So I think the culture's still there. We just got to be creative and find ways where we get people back to the games and build a rugby culture and get people back to watching rugby.
Thanks, and all the best for the rest of your season.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. Thank
Cheers.
you.